Prague, the legendary city of 100 spires. Honestly, this place is like stepping right into a fairy tale. We're talking a stunning maze of Gothic towers, incredible Baroque palaces, and these cobblestone streets that just feel alive with 1,000 years of history. It really is a city that promises magic around every single corner. But here's the thing. It's the question that so many of us travelers are asking right now. Has this fairy tale city become, well, just too expensive for the rest of us? I mean, with its popularity just exploding, there's this growing worry that the real magic of Prague is now locked behind a pretty high paywall, pushing it just out of reach for anyone trying to travel on a budget. But what if I told you that Prague's most profound, most unforgettable experiences are still completely free? That the actual soul of this city isn't for sale at all? Well, that's exactly what we're going to prove today. We're going to give you the blueprint to unlock all of Prague's magic without having to empty your wallet. So, let's get into it. Okay, here's the game plan. First, we're going to bust this myth that Prague is expensive. Then, I'm going to be your guide to the 7 most incredible free attractions in the city. After all that exploring, I'll show you how to eat like a true local and get around the city like a pro. And finally, we're going to put it all together into a daily budget that's totally realistic. You'll see just how affordable this adventure can be. So, get your phone's notepad ready because here they are. These are the 7 absolute must-see experiences in Prague that will not cost you a single Czech crown. First stop, the incredible Prague Castle. Now look, you do have to buy tickets to go inside the palaces and museums, but honestly, the real show is totally free. You can just wander through the massive courtyards of the world's largest ancient castle complex. Just look up and take in the insane Gothic spires of St. Vitus Cathedral, a masterpiece that took almost 600 years to build. And pro tip, if you time your visit for noon, you can catch the formal changing of the guard right at the main gate. It's this fantastic, free bit of pageantry. Okay, next up is an experience that is truly, truly priceless. Walking the Charles Bridge at dawn. Seriously, during the day, it's a mob scene. But in the early morning, it's just you, the mist floating up from the Vltava River, and the 30 silent Baroque statues staring back at you. And here's a little secret. As you walk towards the castle, look for the 8th statue on the right. That's St. John of Nepomuc. You'll see a little bronze plaque that's been polished shiny by millions of people touching it. The legend says, if you touch it, you'll have good luck, and you're guaranteed to return to Prague one day. Let's head to the absolute heart of historic Prague, the Old Town Square. Think of it as the city's living room. It's surrounded by mind-blowing architecture, from the giant twin spires of the Tin Church to the Old Town Hall. And every single hour, on the hour, you can join the huge crowd to watch the amazing medieval astronomical clock come to life. You've got this whole procession of apostles, and even a little figure of death tolling the bell. It's this captivating show that's been running for over 600 years. Okay, from medieval history to something much more modern, let's go find the Lennon Wall. It's kind of tucked away in the lesser town area. What started as just a single portrait of John Lennon after his death, it quickly became this powerful symbol for people frustrated with the communist government. Today, it's a living, breathing canvas of graffiti, song lyrics, and messages of peace. It's an incredible symbol of hope, and let's be honest, one of the coolest photo spots in the entire city. To get that perfect, postcard-worthy shot of Prague, you've got to get up high. And the best places to do that are Petřín and Letná parks. These huge green spaces are the perfect escape from the busy city streets. For the absolute best view, I'm talking the iconic one you always see, head to the Hanovský Pavilion in Letná Park. It gives you this perfect, clear panorama of all the bridges crossing the river. Just grab a few snacks from a grocery store and have a picnic with one of the best views in all of Europe. All right, ready for something completely different? Forget stuffy museums. How about we go on an urban scavenger hunt? We're gonna go find the bizarre and brilliant sculptures of David Černý. He's the Czech Republic's most famous and, yeah, most controversial artist. His work is hilarious, sometimes it's a little bit shocking, but it always makes you think. It basically turns a simple walk around the city into a real adventure. So on your hunt, make sure you look up on Hysova Street for a pretty wild sight, a life-size statue of Sigmund Freud just dangling by one hand from a roof. Then, near the Kafka Museum, you'll find 2 bronze guys peeing into a fountain shaped like the Czech Republic. You can duck into the Lucerna Passage to see a famous king on an upside-down dead horse. And you absolutely cannot miss the giant, creepy, barcode-faced babies crawling around Kappa Park, or the massive spinning head of Franz Kafka. And for our final free attraction, let's escape the crowds and discover Vyšehrad Fortress. According to legend, this is where it all began, where the mythical Princess Libesha predicted the founding of Prague. It's a much more peaceful, local-feeling alternative to Prague Castle, and it's just full of folklore. You can explore the old fortress walls, walk through this beautiful cemetery where famous Czechs are buried, and get some absolutely incredible views looking down the river. Okay, after all that walking, I know you've worked up an appetite. So the big question is, how do you get amazing, authentic food without falling into those tourist traps right on the main squares? Let's dive into the local secrets for eating on a budget. Okay, listen up, because this right here is probably the single most important phrase you need to know for budget dining in Prague: Polední menu. On weekdays, usually between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., pretty much all the local restaurants offer a discounted set lunch menu. Just look for signs outside that say Polední menu or Denní nabídka. For a fraction of the dinner price, you'll often get a delicious soup and a huge classic Czech main course. This is your golden ticket to an amazing, affordable meal. Now, for an even more authentic, even cheaper option, you have got to find a Jídelna. These are basically traditional no-frills Czech cafeterias. Don't be intimidated if it looks a little chaotic when you walk in. You just grab a tray, pour in it whatever looks good, and get ready for a truly authentic and unbelievably cheap meal. There's a famous one right near the center called Havlská Karota, where you can get a full, hearty meal for just a few euros. Alright, now that we're full of delicious Czech food, let's talk about getting around this amazing city. Prague's public transport system is an absolute dream. It's clean, it's efficient, and it goes everywhere. And using it smartly is the key to keeping your budget on track. Here's where a little bit of planning is going to save you a lot of money. A single 90-minute ticket costs around 50 crowns. But a 72-hour pass that gives you 3 full days of unlimited travel on trams, buses, and the metro that only costs about 330 to 350 crowns. So, if you're planning on taking more than just a couple of trips a day, the multi-day pass isn't just a good deal, it's an absolute no-brainer. It saves you money and the headache of buying a new ticket all the time. So we've explored for free, we've eaten like locals, and we've navigated the city like pros. Let's see how it all adds up. This is the moment you're going to realize just how easy and affordable trip to Prague really is. Just take a look at these numbers. A big, hearty lunch from a Polední menu for about 220 crowns. A filling dinner at a Jídelna for around 325. And your daily transport costs are covered. It all adds up to only about 662 crowns, which is roughly 27 euros. That's for a whole day of food and travel. That is completely manageable. So what does this all mean? It means a total on-the-ground daily budget of somewhere between 45 and 65 euros is completely realistic. And listen, this isn't some bare-bones, suffer-through-it budget. This is a budget for a fantastic trip with plenty of wiggle room for a coffee, one of those famous Trdellet pastries, or even a small paid attraction. It's all about being smart, not about depriving yourself of anything. So, as we wrap things up here, I really want to circle back to that idea we started with. This whole thing isn't just about saving a few bucks here and there. It's about a different, and I think a more authentic way of experiencing this city. Because Prague's most enduring treasures, they aren't found behind a paywall. They are woven into the very fabric of the city itself. They're in the morning light, hitting the Charles Bridge just right, the sound of your footsteps echoing in a castle courtyard, the constantly changing art on a public wall, and the view from a quiet park high above all the red roofs. So now you have the blueprint. You have the map for an incredible, affordable adventure in one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world. The only question left is, what treasure are you going to discover first? Want to see even more ways to save on your trips? Get a free view of my ebook, I Know What I Saved on Travel Last Summer, with tips for cheap flights, budget stays, and hidden local hacks. Comment, I want, to grab your copy, and explore the full guide for even more insider tips.